Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're taking a look at a PortalCraft amulet deck, mainly based of course around Orb of Destruction. I am only running 2 because that's all I've got, but of course 3 could be quite nice. Avatar of Desecration is actually a really sweet card and does a really nice job at pulling the large drops in the Draco and the Silver, which are actually really nice drops to pull. So we're going to get right into this and check it out. So this Portal deck isn't perfect, it's just something that I thought was reasonably interesting enough to make a full deck around. Of course there are better variants, mostly the Omen Portal decks are absolutely insane right now. I would highly recommend those if you're interested in playing something more competitive. But I really wanted to give the new Legendary Amulet a go, and I thought, why not make full use of it wherever I can. Unfortunately, I don't believe we get to use it much in this first match, but we can take full advantage of the neutral support this deck has, and of course the silvers to get as much ping as possible against the blood player. The next match, I believe, is much better representation of what you want to do with this deck. So kicking things off, going with the early goblin plays, getting out a goblin leader into our hand is not actually too bad at all. And we do have the sniper, we just need to find a way to use it. And Gift of Bloodkin isn't a bad way. Especially when they're going for, of course, the 3-5 there, which is substitution material. Makes things a little bit slower, but it still works in our favour. Stops them from getting that heal. Since we're on the Evo, it means we can do much better than our opponent. Now it would have been nice if I could have just went for 2 2-drops, but this ended up just being straight up better for now. And Razor Claw. The advantage in this matchup is that we do a lot of ping type damage, whereas our opponent is dealing a lot of damage to themselves, so it definitely puts us at the advantage in particular in this match. Definitely on the easier side. And any storm damage we get now is definitely going to be pretty devastating. Evilite Demon though, that's a little sad. They're going to deal a fair bit of damage on it. Really we just want to stay out of the way of any Dark Feast bat play. That's the harder risk to avoid. Unfortunately I didn't come up with a better strategy than just throwing all these puppets in. I actually think Maisha could be a nice fit with this deck potentially, but I would really have to test it more to see, especially since it would also be an issue with the amulet card, since it would pull the Maisha. Although, getting Maisha onto board that way and then using the Evo might not be the worst option. We just need Maisha to survive, of course, because it is at the end of turn that it summons things. Goblin Leader. Actually not a bad way to play cards. And I probably should have went for Genesis of Legend instead of going for the damage, but I did favour that just in case. Since if they end up getting any kind of healing, we could be in trouble. Which they did. Wings of Lust is going to allow them to heal 6 this turn, which is definitely not a good thing for us. I do want to cover a Dark Feast bat deck very soon. I've actually got to look into some lists and see what I can find. Our Draco is going to do a wonderful job of getting rid of this. And we get a couple of extra damage off the puppets. Before going face for an extra little bit of damage. So leaving them at 9, they're going to take 2 from their amulet. As long as they don't have Dark Feast bat, we'll be okay. They are of course digging hard though. They also can't risk leaving up a 9-2, that would be just crippling. So it's no surprise that they end up doing what they did. Puppet Strings. Definitely a nice card to draw there. Not super useful yet, but definitely alright. I can actually hold on to the puppets in case I end up getting a better card next turn. And with only 2 points left, it's definitely going to be difficult for the opponent to make a comeback on this unless they do have Dark Feast bat. Gift of the Bloodkin, not good. Dark Feast bat, of course, getting extra value out of that. But then they go for the 7 of Lust, which does end up giving us the victory. Obviously not having Dark Feast bat in their hand. For the next match, we are playing against Havencraft. Havencraft is just one of those decks at the moment, bunnies being, of course, the predominant. We did end up getting the Orb of Desecration on the first draw. That's usually when I like to personally use it, although turn 5 is really good for it too if you've already loaded up on a few puppets. Since, of course, you do get the bonuses from it a lot quicker, but playing it on turn 1 isn't really a bad move if you've already got set up for 2 through 4. And going up against Holy Lion decks, I'm probably going to be having to force out a lot of cards anyway. So I decided to go for Wind Up while we had Resonance, since the extra puppets, of course, with the Orb is going to be way too much advantage to miss out on. Orb of Desecration, it just has some really good ways to drop its countdown. I mean, any Evo drops its countdown, any Follower Destruction drops its countdown, each turn drops its countdown. You end up with just really easy ways to drop it down. So we've already gone down to 20, next turn we'll drop it to 19, and we can work from there with things like Puppet Strings or Happy Pig, and really anything else we could need. See, Puppet Strings is okay. I probably could have went instead for Puppet Room and set that up, but next turn I could save that and use either Pig or Goblin Fighter along with the Puppet to get the extra value we're probably going to need. Since by the looks of this, the Holy Lion Crystal play, no big surprise. Would have been probably better to use strings there, but we'll still do alright clearing this. And we'll also have the Evo on the Happy Pig, which sets up some potential healing if we can use it, and gives us the extra countdown. So we've dropped it down, our amulet, to 13. It's not quite where you'd want it if you're on turn 5 normally, but it still isn't bad. Prism Swing, it's a little rough, but again, it does drop our countdown a little further. That's all we can really rely on now. They are going really heavy in the lions, and we don't really have a way to clear both of these, which is a little disappointing. So all I can do is really kill one of these off and kind of do whatever else I can to survive. And since we actually have a chance next turn, since we do have the Altar Plane and of course Draco, we've got a really good chance of going in with just some decent damage. Not so lucky though, of course, we see the Hector come down. But Altar Plane should scoop this up pretty well. We're going to be able to clear off most of this and get some really good damage into the board. We're actually going to wipe it, which is great. Since the Evo on the altar will take out, of course, the 5/6, our puppet will allow us to use the free black and scripture play, and then we pretty much just work from there. Unfortunately, Priest of the Cudgel isn't going to see much play, but sometimes sacrifices need to be made. And we're going to fill the board.
Good work.
It's really nice when you can get that card onto the board. There's one Holy Lion Crystal. It's not really going to be enough on its own, so they did end up conceding for us, which is great. The Haven player may have had a small chance in that last match if they had used their Evo and of course sacrificed something, but I think they were really in a difficult spot dealing with that. You pretty much had to kill the 4 drop off, that was too big a risk to leave on board, but at the same time leaving anything else would open you up to of course being killed by just straight up puppets and then face, so definitely the right move on their part to just kind of give up on the game and not drag it out. But this deck overall is a reasonable bit of fun. It does run probably a heavier amount of legendaries in some decks now. I mean, we're running 7, 10. It's kind of on the high side as far as that is, so no surprise there. I think average decks are still running around 8 to 9, so it's not super high, but definitely on the higher end of it. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe for more content. You will find this deck list in the description below. Until next time, see ya.